What's up, guys? Welcome back to Big Yogi's Garage, the podcast. Today I got my cousin Alexzany Rodriguez. Alexzany lives in Florida. I live in Toledo. I came down for my honeymoon, and I just wanted to come and do a podcast with him. He had an Instagram. He has an Instagram. He had an Instagram, and I started following him. And then I started learning a lot about working out, a lot about mental health, and I started following him. And then some other shit happened. He got off of it, but. Alexzany, what's up? Why did you even start Instagram and start inspiring people and stuff like that?
You know, what happened with me was I've been battling with anxiety since I was about 18 years old.
Okay.
And it was an off and on thing. So there was times in my life where I would have anxiety, I battle with it for about 2 to 3 years. I would see a psychologist, I'd get out of the funk, and I would overcome it, go back to my life as normal. But this last time around, when I was about 30 years old, I fell into it. And I fell into it pretty hard. And this time around, I actually got to the point where I realized I hit rock bottom. Mm-hmm. And I went ahead and I got help, not just in psychologists like I normally do, but I also went and I saw a psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. There's so much stigma with medication and mental health. And after going through what I went through and coming out of that hole, right, mm-hmm. and taking the medications and really transforming my life around completely, mm-hmm. I said, people need to know that this helps. I need to be a voice. Yeah. Because when I was in that darkness, I needed that, and it was hard to find that because there's so much stigma, and there's so many people that have had great results with medication and therapy, but they don't talk about it as much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? When I get through this, I'm going to talk about this.
And then that's why you started helping people.
And that's why I started helping. And aside from that, we also had somebody really dear to us in the family that committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
A 25-year-old girl, she took her life. She turned on the car in the garage, and at that point, that's when I really said, okay, I'm taking this to social media.
Oh, okay. And then that's okay. What is the difference between a psychiatrist and what did you?
So I
don't know. Then I thought there was like the same thing.
Right.
So can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So what a psychiatrist does is they actually work with medications, right? So they go ahead, they evaluate you. First of all, they see if you even need medication, because not everybody needs medication. Okay. Right? Some people could get away with just talk therapy. That's what a psychologist does. Oh, okay. So talk therapy, you're going to get that from your psychologist. Medications, you're going to get that from your psychiatrist. You get evaluated. Okay. And like I said, not everybody needs it. Some people need very little medication, some need more, and some don't need it at all. But in combination with those things, for me, exercise was huge. Okay. And I know we're going to get into that too now, because you've had an amazing transformation.
Yeah, I've been following. That's where I find a lot of my peace now. I do videos where I work out, but I do 5 sets and I do one little video, just a little clip. So most of the time I find a lot of peace there and a lot of comfort in my workouts.
Yeah, it's incredible because as we work out, right, it's been proven and studied, a lot of people know this, we release a lot of endorphins, serotonin, so it's the feel-good hormones that get going while we work out. So the best medication, Hazel, okay. So the best medication that you could actually have is exercise.
Oh, okay. Doubt, Yeah. Okay. So, what exactly do you struggle with exactly?
So I was struggling with anxiety. Period. I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and panic disorder. Okay. That was that's when they did my evaluation with a psychiatrist. That was the result. And I knew I had some form of anxiety, but I didn't pinpoint it. Right. All these years, I knew I was battling something. But because of the stigma and because of the fear of just going to a psychiatrist, period, and being told that I had to take medication, I never went and got evaluated. Yeah. So I did that now in my 30s, and that's what I was told. And I got put on, and I like to be open about it too, because another thing too, people don't really talk about the medications they take, right? Like they'll say, I took medication and I got through it, but they're not open about it.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
They don't take what pill they take.
Yeah, I've always found that to be silly. So I'll be very open with you. I took Lexapro, and I started at 10 milligrams. And I'm currently at 15 milligrams. I've been blessed to not have any negative side effects. Okay. In the beginning, there was probably a little bit of like a nausea and a little bit of what they call brain fog. It's your body adjusting to the medication. But I was blessed to really not have any severe side effects at all. And it's worked wonders for me. And the reason I say that is because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch this video and they're going to say, well, that's not the same. It doesn't work for everybody. And they're right. It doesn't work for everybody, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't give it a try, especially if you're at rock bottom. What I'm saying? Your life is worth it. Having a beautiful life is worth the try.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's dope. At one point, there's been like not two times. There's like 2 different mental problems that I've had. when I found out that I was going to prison, the FBI came. They said I went to jail the first day, but I got out on bond, and I had to fight my case for 15 months on the streets. But that 15 months, I felt like I was in prison because I was working, I was living my life, but I knew that I have to go to prison, and it was like a mental struggle, depression. And I lived at, I had my house, but then we moved out of the house, and we moved into my ex's brother's house, and we lived, and man, it was like a mental breakdown of me. I felt that 15 months I was in prison and like craziness. And then I had, and then once I got out of prison and all that, and I had my leg thing where my legs went numb, I struggled a lot with that. I blew up. I took that, I was taking steroids, and it made me blow up, and I was like getting like really depressed with my body, and like, I was like, oh my God, and my wedding's gonna come up in October. I proposed to my fiance. I proposed to Sandra. She was my girlfriend at the time. And I'm like, and then just one day I said, I gotta do something for myself, man, because I was really down. I don't know what I had, depression. I had like an eating disorder. I was going to McDonald's and Taco Bell. And like, I think to me,
that became your coping mechanism.
If you know something is doing wrong for you, if you know you're eating McDonald's and that's making you fat isn't that like a mental problem or no? Is that kind of?
I think because it became your coping mechanism, the eating, that's common. That happens to a lot of people. And it's funny that you said something to me that stood out right now. You said prior to you even being sentenced, right? Prior to you going to jail, those 15 months where you were fighting the case, you were still out here, but you were already feeling the anxiety. You were already feeling like you were in jail.
Yeah.
And it shows you how powerful the mind is. Here you are. You're outside, right? You're not in jail yet. You have the possibility of beating this trial, but already because of the pressures that you were facing, you were already imprisoned in your life. In your mind, you were in prison.
Yeah, them 3 years I did 4.5 because I did a year and a half out in my mind. I was in prison already.
That's what I'm saying, and it's incredible. That's how strong the mind is, right?
Yeah.
And it's so important to. One of the things that helped me a lot with mental health and just having more of a positive mindset. And what I was transmitting in those videos in my Instagram that you used to watch, the reason I was able to be so positive and transmit that positivity is because I learned that good things are supposed to happen to us. And that's a tool that I was taught by a psychologist. And she told me to repeat that every day, right? And what does she mean by that? So good things are supposed to happen to us. Anything that happens to you is a good thing. And when you look at life that way, whether it's a flat tire on the way to work, right? Maybe you got a flat on the way to work. Now you're late to work. You're upset. People get upset about it. And the truth is, maybe you would have died on the next, exit. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe somebody would have hit you with a semi.
Whatever. You go to an interview, you don't land the job. Whatever. That wasn't the job for you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe that job was
another job.
Exactly. So when you really, because one thing is to say it. I think a lot of people say, yeah, good things are supposed to, but they don't really feel it.
Yeah.
And it's when you really, really feel that and live by that, that you start to see massive changes.
There's a quote for Kobe Bryant. It says, things don't happen to you, things happen for you.
Yes.
For you to get better.
For sure.
Yeah, like that thing that happened to me, like that my legs went numb and I was like overweight and overeating
and look at you now.
And now it woke me up.
You look amazing.
It woke me up. It said, bro, fix your life, because 10 more years of this, you're gonna freaking die.
You're right.
Like I started, like my legs went numb from my waist down. Like my private area, my feet, I still don't have no feeling in the bottom of my feet. When I had to learn, like you see me jogging and stuff, I learned how to jog again. Because when you have no feeling in the bottom of your feet, you don't even know where the floor is. Every day is a struggle, but I know how to do it and there's a lot of pins and needles in the bottom of my feet, but I just live with the pain now. There's people that take lots of medication because they'll tell the doctor, it's pins and needles, but no, you don't. If you can train your mind to deal with that pain, it ain't like I'm gonna die pain. No, it's, when you say you're using the bathroom and your legs go numb, you get that pins and needles everywhere.
Correct.
I have that in the bottom of my feet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because I wasn't taking care of myself. So that woke me up. I need to take care of myself.
Right.
And because I was eating too much bullshit.
I think we all have a turning point in life, So and a lot of times we get upset or we get down about the down times, right? Those rock bottoms. But I've learned to be grateful for those rock bottoms, because it's when we hit those rock bottoms that we have the most beautiful transformations that we make within ourselves. Where we achieve growth is where we really evolve, where we learn to love, where we learn to, give importance to what's really important, family. So for me, every time I think about anxiety and depression, I don't look at anxiety and depression in a negative light. And it sounds kind of crazy for somebody that had such a rough battle with it, but I'm grateful for it. You know, sometimes I think about my darkest days now and I put on a grin, like I'll smirk, and I'm like, I am who I am today because of that.
Because of your darkest days.
And I tell you the truth from the bottom of my heart, if I had to experience that again, to be who I am today, I would do it over and over.
I'm laughing because me too. I tell that people all the time. I say I went to prison. That was my darkest days, but I would do it all over because the man I am today is because I went to prison. Because I knew that I was going in there, and I prepared myself when I got out that I was going to be a better man. Sure. And I got out. I started my business. I did have that health scare, and I got bigger again. And I helped myself with the business first. And I created my business. Then I messed up my health a little bit while I was doing that. And now I'm on a journey to grow my business, my podcast, and my health. I want to just keep expanding that.
And you are, because I've been following you. I know you said you were following me, and you've told me you were inspired by the things I spoke about. But you have been a great inspiration for me as well, because I see what you've done, and I've seen your turnaround. And not only that, but for the people that don't know, I'm not from Toledo, Ohio. I visited, right? Yeah. But I have a lot of family there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for the people that are not from Toledo, Ohio, you are not a common product of Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio doesn't breed and create the man that you are. It's just the truth. It's an unfortunate truth. So to see you do what you're doing, coming from where you come, like I'm so, to tell you the truth, like I'm proud of you as a cousin to see you do that. It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, people really won't understand, people that are not from Toledo or don't know how Toledo works. Yeah. But you're not the typical product of Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, I was before, but then I wanted to prove to people that we can change. For a lot of years I was the quiet guy. Ask any of our cousins, ask your mom, anybody, was I a talkative person? No. I sat and listened, and I listened and listened. But there was a point that I said, I'm tired of seeing everybody destroy their lives. I'm not gonna tell everybody what I'm gonna do. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to put it all on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. I don't care what social media. I'm going to put it on all that social media so you guys can see that it's possible. And I'm not just going to fake it to make it. I am the person I am, and I'm going to prove to everybody that you can do it. I'm not going to prove to everybody that I can do it. No, I'm going to prove to everybody that a person that's 300 pounds and wants to become better can do it. Then you can message me and I'll help you through it. That's what I want to show. I want to show my family, my friends, and anybody else in the whole world that wants to follow me.
Right, and that's a beautiful thing, right? Because that's part of creating community. And I think right now as a society we need that more than ever, right? Because everything is materialistic stuff, and and the Kardashians, and what is Kanye doing, and what is this person doing? And at the end of the day, we need if we were to put that same energy into each other, right, into people that are going through our struggles, right, and kind of help each other out, that energy that we put into following all these other people that at the end of the day, they don't really care about us the way we care about each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the way I care about the mental health community, the way you care about the people that are struggling with weight. You know what I'm saying? More people would do that, turn around and help each other and drive that energy the way we do into helping the people that are going through what we're doing. The world would be such a better place.
Absolutely. Yeah. If we would unite, a lot of everybody wants to create groups and divide. I always thought that if all of us humans and whatever, family, friends, if we unite, we can conquer things. Like we can have more things. We can create more businesses. Like if more people want to come on my podcast, anybody in the Toledo, any of my family can be on my podcast. We can grow your business. Whatever you sell, let's sell the products. Like he's wearing The Rock, but if he comes out with his own brand, Alexzany clothing line, I'm gonna promote it on my shit. He's gonna have it on my podcast. And one day, if he has his own brand, he's gonna have it on my podcast, and we can promote it. I want to help everybody. It's not about me. I don't want you on my podcast to help me. No, I want you on my podcast so we can talk about mental health, talk about growing people's businesses and helping people.
Things that matter.
Because if we stay together, we can grow together.
For sure.
It's not about money it's about being a group of people together so we can have a community and create this internet podcast and stuff is like the future. We could all help each other
100%.
So we can grow our businesses.
100%. I also feel like we're in an era where everybody wants to be a teacher. Everybody wants to be the teacher.
Yeah.
And even though I've gone through so much stuff with mental health, and I consider myself to be very knowledgeable. Obviously, there's doctors and people that studied it that have 1,000 times more knowledge than me.
Of course.
But even though I consider to be myself knowledgeable, when somebody sits and talk, whether they're younger than me, I sit and listen. You know what I'm saying? I think we also need to learn that everybody wants to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you close doors. You know what I'm saying? You don't learn because we can learn so much from each other. You know what I'm saying? And I know you've done that yourself.
Yeah.
Because I know you've told me you've taken little things from me. You've taken little things from here and there. And look at all those tools that you, because you weren't closed-minded, because you didn't want to be Yogi the teacher. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to humble yourself and you really wanted to be a better person. You learned a little bit from everybody. And that, look at the turnaround you've done.
Of course, because there's some people that say, "Oh, I don't want to listen. I don't want to." I'll say, "Hey, have you ever read this book?" And they say, "No, I don't want to read that book because it might put like different mind thoughts." But they don't understand. You can read a book and maybe 99% of the book is bullshit, but there's that 1% that you can take a little nugget and implement it into your life.
100%.
Like, I don't understand why this conversation right here, maybe someone can listen to it and be like, you know what, I didn't like it all, but there was this little piece about the mental health that was good, or this little piece about this that was good.
Or just like that, you know what, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
There was that one thing I needed to hear and I heard that today.
Of course, and then people close their minds off and they don't want to listen or say, oh no, because I got my own ideas. Like, there's so many more people out there. There's so many things. Like, we need to learn more, I think.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Do you feel like we as like humans should keep learning, or should we just be like closed-minded, not my dad, but like older Cubans? You tell them something and they say, eso no es así, eso no. Like,
well, you know, the thing about it's funny because older Cubans, they're doctors, they're veterinarians. Yeah. They know everything. You know what I'm saying? They're psychologists. Yeah. They're architects. They're contractors.
But
they know
they're
everything.
Closing mind to certain things.
They are. Yeah, they do close their mind. And it's not. Hey, listen, I'm not here bashing. Our roots, right? I love our people.
No, it's just, I love like, the island. We like to make fun and have fun.
But the reason why we say it is because we're talking about it because we know, right? Yeah. So it's not that we're bashing, but we know our people. Of course. And we recognize our defects, you know? But I do see that this generation, it has made changes. You know what I'm saying? That older generation of Cuban, that mentality is kind of fading away, and that's a good thing because it wasn't the right one to have.
Absolutely, because I'll bring something up. I said my father because that's who I hang out with. So I'll bring up something up to my father, and he'll say, no, like something I learned. Like I learned on a podcast about, okay, this is what it was. I said the brain needs glucose, right? The brain needs sugar, not sugar, but glucose. So I told my dad, instead of drinking all them pops, because your brain's telling you need glucose, Dad, but doesn't mean you have to drink a pop. It doesn't mean you have to drink coffee, lattes, and all that. It means that you have to eat fruit. Right. Eat fruit. That's what God made fruit for us. Right. You know what I'm saying? I said, eat a mango. That fruit will get in your stomach. It'll break in and give you sugar through the glucose and all that stuff. And he's like, no, see, that's what you think, but really, sugar's fine, And he just closes his mind. Yeah, he doesn't. When we go grocery shopping, he won't buy fruit, or he'll buy like one little thing of bananas. Yeah. And he closes his mind. I said, this is studied by doctors. They studied the brain. He said, how the hell can a doctor study a brain that's inside like someone's head? And I said, they take it out and they cut it and they figure it out. And he's just like, he doesn't understand that there's more to the earth than just what he has closed off his mind to, and then that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think knowledge and health is the best thing ever. You know,
100%, 100%. And being healthy, right? I think what we consume, we are what we eat. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I know we talked a little bit about fasting, right? Yeah. And I was hoping you'd tell me about your fasting journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know for a lot of people, it's hard to do it. It's scary. The first couple of days are tough. Your body sends you mixed signals, right? So it tells you to eat, or it tells you need it, or you're gonna pass out. And a lot of it is mental. So how did you go ahead and like get over that initial hump? I think a lot of people want to know is because I'm pretty sure the beginning is the hardest, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So what did you do to cope with that and help?
The way I did it. Okay, you're already sleeping for like let's say you're sleeping for 8 hours. So every day you're already sleeping for 8 hours. That's an 8-hour fast. So all you gotta do is do a couple more hours in the beginning. So say you go to sleep at 10 at night, just stop at 8 at night. So you're gonna go 8 at night all the way to like say 8 in the morning. That's 12 hour fast. 12 hours. Start it with a 12-hour fast. don't go crazy. You can even start with an 8 hour and then move it to 10 hour and then 12 hour, then 14 hour, then six. Your main thing, my main goal was to get to 16-hour fast. So I did it like that. I opened it up little by little, right? And then you're learning, right? And then, okay, the main thing is when you eat, you got to eat fruits, because you can eat your food, right? You eat your protein, your little bit of carb. Don't give up carbs. Don't give up nothing. Don't give up. Try to stay away from bread, sugars, and pops, because that's what builds like bloating and stuff. But when you eat, say rice is very important. God made rice because rice is real little and it breaks up really easy in our stomachs. You know how they say chew your food really good so it can break up in your stomach? Rice is already chewed up. You just chewed up a little bit more. It's way better to eat rice than bread. They say carbs and stuff, but don't worry about that. Eat your good protein, your good carbs, and then add fruits. Add fruits, because that fruits, the mass of the fruit is gonna, say a mango, you're gonna eat that mango. That masa is gonna be in your stomach, and it's gonna be breaking down in the fibers into your blood system little by little. For the next day, when you wake up and usually you're hungry, you say you're starving, you're not starving. Your glucose is down, your insulin levels are down, and you think you're tired, and then that's why you go and eat and you start your day. But if you eat enough fruits when you eat your breakfast, or when you eat your healthy lunch and your healthy dinner, it doesn't have to be a bunch of fruit, but add fruits to your stuff. Then that food's gonna be breaking down the next day, and your sugars or glucose and insulin levels are gonna be steady, and you're gonna be able to get by breakfast. Say if you want to skip breakfast, you're gonna be able to get by breakfast, and then you can eat a healthy lunch and a healthy dinner. That's how I did it.
Nice. Yes.
That's how I did it.
I think the important thing is, because a lot of people don't know, they think they gotta jump straight. If you're gonna start fasting, they think you gotta jump straight into 16-hour fast. And no, you build it up, like you said. Start at 8, then go to 10, then go to 12, 14, 16.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe you could do that over a period of about 2 weeks. That build up.
And then it's easier when you do like that.
For sure. For sure.
If you jump into 16, it's just so hard, because
that's when people quit.
You go from eating 3 meals a day and then you want to do 16. Like, no, you don't do it like that. You got to do it little by little. And then exactly the way I fast, it's not going to work for you. You have to figure out the way you fast. Let's say you're a morning person, a breakfast eater. Then when you wake up, eat a healthy breakfast and then eat a healthy lunch and skip dinner, go into your fast at 6.
Or have an early dinner.
Yeah, go into your fast like your lunch is like a lunch dinner, like you know what I mean, like a nice healthy lunch dinner, like later on, like a 5 o'clock, and then stop eating at 6 at night, and then go.
You do your 16 hours at the end of the day.
At the end of the night, and then when you wake up, you eat your healthy.
Right.
But don't wake up and eat and drink a latte with creamer and sugar and whipped cream and the cherry. Once you do that, you're losing the battle. When you wake up, you gotta eat eggs, bacon, ham, maybe a little bit of toast. If you eat bread, eat sourdough bread. Sourdough bread, I don't know what happens, but the enzymes break down a lot better in your stomach. It's like a big hard bread that they cut.
Yeah.
And it's really good bread, and it breaks down so much better in your system. If you're gonna drink pop, drink diet pop. It doesn't. People say diet pop is bad, but guess what? It's not as bad as regular pop. Drink diet pop. If you're gonna put sugar and stuff, put the fake sugar and stuff. Like give up a little bit of the stuff that you used to eating. Stop eating at McDonald's. Stop eating at Burger. Like, I'm not trying to bash those places. Like, that's fine if you want to, but those places are not feeding America like the food we need to eat. Right. Make some steaks and some rice and some beans
organic
at home.
too. I think one thing to look at when you go grocery shopping is you want to go ahead and make sure that it says organic, grass-fed. I know there's there's this vegan movement now, which I respect it. I know a lot of people try to go vegan and they're doing vegan. I understand it, but I'm a firm believer that we do need animal. We do need some sort of animal meat. I think our body needs it. I personally, I could say this because for me, I did vegan for 6 months and I ended up getting sick. I ended up in a hospital. And listen to this. I end up getting sick. I'm in the hospital, right? I'm in the ER. My doctor, for the ER doctor that comes in, a twig. I'm talking about, she looks sicker than me. And I tell her that I'm doing vegan, and I explain to her what's going on. And the first thing she tells me, because I tell her I think I'm gonna have to stop, right? Yeah. When my blood work came back, my iron was a little low and this and that. So I tell her I think I had to stop, whatever. And she tells me, no, you're good, I'm vegan.
Yeah.
and she looked sick. And I'm thinking to myself, no, if you're a doctor and you're vegan and you look, you look this bad.
Yeah.
No, this is not for me.
I'm big like you gotta eat protein.
I think you have
This is how I told my aunt the other day. If anything is made by a machine, don't eat it.
Yep,
like
100%.
if anything's made, like
This
eat
is a
everything,
tip.
anything that grows from the ground or an animal.
This is a tip that I learned, and I'm going to share with your followers.
Yeah.
Something that I learned that I didn't know, and when you think about it now, you're going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. The healthiest way to shop when you go into anywhere, it's Publix, Kroger's, if you're Kroger's,
Myers,
yeah, because I know we got different.
I don't know. I never
chains.
Publix. I know here, yeah. But go ahead, yeah.
So when you go to these places,
We got Whole Foods and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Never shop in the center. If you realize all the healthy food is literally around the whole outer strip, that's where you're gonna have your Whole Foods. That's where you're gonna have your Whole Foods.
I never even thought of it right now.
Everything in the middle is
bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
it's produced for and it has like MGMOs. It has a bunch of stuff. Everything in the middle is good. Heavily processed foods. All your heavily processed foods, your cookies, your crackers, your chips, all the BS is gonna be in the middle of the stores. If you shop around the perimeter of the store.
Yeah, because that's where the fruit. As soon as you walk into Kroger's,
it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
The fish, the meat, the yogurt, the cheese. Hell no, because I never even knew.
I didn't know that either, so I wanted to share.
Who taught you that?
I didn't remember.
You learned something. That's crazy.
But here we go. This is why again. This is what I say. I don't want to be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? I this is the things you pick up when you take the time to listen.
Yeah.
This podcast has probably been going on already we're about to be at half an hour. And who's ever stayed this long, you know what I'm saying, has picked up on a lot of stuff. For sure.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we dedicate our time back to what we were talking about, to the wrong things, to celebrities and the fame and the materialistic stuff. And it's people like you that are taking the time. You're starting from scratch right now.
Yeah.
I've seen your podcast, I've seen what you do on Instagram. But it's people like you that are going to share way more insightful things than the people up there that are talking about irrelevant things. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, for me, like just being here with you today has been amazing. I've loved it. You know what I'm saying? I've been wanting to do this. I know me and you, we've been talking about it for a while. We've been writing to it let's get on a podcast.
Absolutely, man. Because I got to get on a plane and all that. But thank you so much for getting on my podcast, saying yes. And I appreciate you.
I love you. Because, and like I said, hopefully real soon, either I take a flight over there, or you come back again.
There's way more stuff we gotta talk about.
There's so much more stuff to talk about.
Because I gotta jump on a plane, or I'm here on my honeymoon. I want to do my podcast with my cousin, but right now I gotta get going. So this is gonna be like about a half an hour, but we're gonna get together, and then we're planning a trip for next year.
Yeah, when we do that trip, we're definitely taking the cameras.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have some footage, and then we're gonna probably do podcasts with other people too.
Yeah.
All right, cuz I love you, man.
Love you.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. Mwah, mwah. We'll see you guys next week on Big Yogi's Garage.
Yes.